Let me ask you something that could change your entire life. Have you ever felt like the person you want to be, the life you want to live, the version of yourself you dream about, is right there, just barely out of reach? What if I told you that you don't need 10 years of hard work, you don't need anyone's permission, and you don't need to wait for a perfect moment? What if I told you, you can jump into that new version of you instantly? That's what we're going to dive into today. This video is about quantum leaping through the powerful lens of Neville Goddard's teachings, explained in a way you've never heard before. Stay with me until the very end, because not only am I going to break it down step by step so that even a beginner can understand it, I'm going to give you a real method that you can start using today, and if you do it right, you won't even recognize yourself in a few weeks. So get ready. This is going to be one of those moments in your life that you'll look back on and say, that's the day everything changed. So don't click away. Stay to the end because I'm not just going to teach you something, I'm going to shift your entire mindset. Now, let's jump in. Neville Goddard didn't use the term quantum leap, but everything he taught points directly to what we now call that, a sudden, dramatic shift into a new version of reality. So let's break this down simply. A quantum leap isn't about working your way gradually from point A to point B. It's about shifting into a state where point B is already true. Imagine this, you wake up tomorrow morning and instead of thinking like someone who wants to be rich, or happy, or successful in love, you wake up and think and feel and act as if that's already your truth. Not fake it, but fully be it inside your imagination. Neville taught that imagination is not a weak daydreaming thing. It is the creative power of God. And when you occupy a new state in your imagination, your outer world must conform. Now here's the key most people miss: they think they have to work their way toward the new life. But Neville said, change your concept of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. That's the quantum jump. You change your identity internally first, and the world has no choice but to mirror that shift. Let's say you're broke right now. You see your bank account. You feel anxious. The world seems to reinforce that identity. But what would happen if, just for 10 minutes, you closed your eyes and imagined that you had more money than you could spend? What if you truly felt the peace, the safety, the freedom of abundance? What if you allowed yourself to believe, not wish, not hope, but believe that you are that person now? That's how you leap. Not by changing your outer world first, but by shifting internally, even if nothing outside supports it yet. Neville called it, living in the end. Live in the end of your desire fulfilled. Not someday. Not maybe. But now. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you fuse your identity to that version of you, and everything else rearranges. And the craziest part? Reality starts responding instantly. You meet someone new. An opportunity appears. Things you didn't even plan for begin to work in your favor. Why? Because you've jumped to a new timeline. You didn't earn your way there, you leaped through identity. Let me give you a real-world example. A woman who studied Neville deeply was struggling with love. Nothing worked. Men kept rejecting her. One day, she shut off the outside world and decided, I am already chosen. I am already loved. She imagined her ideal relationship every night before bed, she saw it, felt it, breathed it. She didn't try to manipulate the outer world. She just became the version of herself who is already loved. Within 2 weeks, she met someone. It wasn't magic. It was identity. She leaped into a new version of herself, and reality caught up. You begin to embody the new reality until it becomes second nature. And when that happens, life becomes strange in the best way possible. You begin noticing that people treat you differently. Situations resolve themselves. Things that once took you years suddenly take days. You'll say, I don't know how this is happening, but deep down, you do know. You leaped. You shifted into the frequency of your desire. You didn't chase it. You became it. That's Neville's true magic, not waiting, not wishing, but claiming the power of your own imagination to become the person who already has it all. And here's the part no one talks about: once you leap, you're allowed to stay there. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to prove you're worthy. You are worthy by the mere fact that you desire it. Neville said your desire is a gift from God, it's already yours. All you have to do is accept it. Not with effort, but with assumption. So tonight, before you go to sleep, ask yourself this: who do I choose to be? Then dare to live in that state. Dare to walk like it. Talk like it. Think like it. Because when your imagination becomes more real than your current reality, your world will shift so fast you won't believe it. And when it does, come back to this moment, and remember, you didn't chase it. You didn't force it. You leaped, and now that you understand what a quantum leap really is, let's go deeper into how you actually use it, not just in theory, but in the moments when life feels stuck, when your old story tries to pull you back, when your circumstances scream, nothing's changing. Because this is where most people give up. They try it once or twice, and when their outer world doesn't instantly reflect the shift, they say it didn't work. But here's what Neville would say to you in that moment: do not confuse the delay in appearance with the failure of the assumption. The seed is already planted, and the moment you imagine from the end, from the state of your desire already fulfilled, that's the moment your new reality begins. But like any seed, it needs time to unfold. You wouldn't dig up a tree every morning to see if it's growing, right? You trust it. You water it. You protect it. And your assumptions work the same way. You must hold the state regardless of what's happening around you. You must carry the inner knowing that it is done, even when the world still looks like the old version. That's real power. That's the kind of energy that makes quantum leaping stick. So how do you hold that state? Let's simplify it. Throughout your day, when you're driving, walking, waiting in line, pause for a second and ask yourself, who am I right now? Am I the version who's still hoping and needing? Or am I the version who already has what I desire? Then gently return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Don't force it. Just feel it. Assume it. Let it be natural. Neville said, you rise to a higher level of consciousness by taking your attention away from your present limitations and placing your attention upon that which you desire to be. That's your daily practice. That's how you train your mind to stay in the new timeline. And here's where it gets even more exciting: when you stay in that assumed state, people around you begin to change. They respond to the new you, even if they don't know why. A job offer comes out of nowhere. A message you've been waiting for shows up. Not because you begged. Not because you worked harder, but because you aligned with a different version of reality. You leaped, and reality followed. Let me give you an example. A man who was stuck in a cycle of debt and failure decided to try this. Every night, he imagined what it would feel like to be free, completely financially free. Not just rich, but secure, generous, peaceful. He visualized paying off debts, surprising his family with gifts. Walking into stores without checking price tags. He did this for weeks, not knowing how it would happen. Then, out of nowhere, an old friend offered him a role in a business deal. That deal took off. Within a year, he had cleared all his debt. His life had leaped, not because of luck, but because he had been faithful to a new identity. You see, this isn't a game of logic, it's a game of belief. You must become it internally before it shows externally. And you must do it over and over, until the new state feels more real than the old one. At that point, the shift is permanent. And here's the twist: once you do it with one area of your life, you realize you can do it with anything. Love. Health. Confidence. Creativity. You stop living reactively and start living deliberately. You begin to say, I no longer hope, I decide. That's what Neville meant when he said, to be transformed, the whole basis of your thoughts must change. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are the cause. And the cause lives in your assumptions. Right now, you can choose to assume you are already the version of you who has it all. And if you can hold that long enough, the world has to catch up. So start now. Don't wait for proof. Be your own proof. Tonight, before you sleep, revise your day if needed. Change what didn't go your way in imagination. Replace the rejection with acceptance. Replace the worry with peace. Neville called this revision, and it's a powerful way to shift timelines instantly. When you revise, you're not pretending that you're overriding the memory with a better assumption. You're saying, this is the version of reality I choose to believe. And your mind, your subconscious, responds to that new version. So keep practicing. Keep leaping. Keep returning to the end. Because the more you do, the faster the shift becomes. And soon, you'll look back and say, I don't know how it changed, I just know I changed first. That's quantum leaping. That's Neville Goddard.